I love you, but I'm not in love with you. The feelings are just gone, and I don't know why. The spark is gone, and I don't know why. These are some of the most painful things you can ever possibly hear from your avoidant partner, and it can be absolutely soul-crushing. Not only is this person telling you that their feelings for you are gone, but they can't even give you an explanation as to why. The relationship seemed like it was going perfectly. You felt like you were on cloud nine. You had met your person, your twin flame even, your soulmate. You felt like you finally got it right. And now the rug is pulled from under your feet. This person has gone stone cold. Even their eyes look blank, like there's nothing there. All emotions are simply gone, and you're being thrown away, and you feel like you never even mattered to this person. What's actually happening is not necessarily that the avoidant lost feelings. It's that they're suppressing their feelings. They've deactivated. They've taken their feelings for their partner and they've suppressed them and buried them, and they threw away the key. They're not even allowing themselves to access their own feelings. This is what they do when their fears get triggered. This is how they've learned to keep themselves safe. And it goes back to this person's childhood, where they received consistent childhood emotional neglect. They weren't given that love and nurturing in the way that they needed. Usually growing up in households where you don't talk about feelings. And when they tried to voice their feelings, it would get shot down pretty brutally. The message was sent, your emotions aren't welcome here. And they learned that emotions aren't safe. Emotional closeness isn't safe. They couldn't rely on parents, caretakers, anybody for emotional needs. They had to figure it out on their own. They also personalized this emotional neglect to grow up to feel defective and unlovable. So they put up walls around their heart to protect themselves. Because they personalized it, their fear is, if I let my walls down, my partner's going to figure out that I'm not good enough and I'm going to get rejected and abandoned. So it feels safer to keep their partner at an emotional distance. So why did they shut down when everything was going great? Because it was going great. That means emotional intimacy was building, closeness was building, and they learned that closeness is not safe. It gives them enormous anxiety to be vulnerable with somebody. They don't feel comfortable expressing feelings and opening up. It gives them tons of anxiety. Their entire limbic nervous system is on fire with stress, with cortisol. Another issue at play here is that avoidance, especially dismissive, they struggle to oxytocin bond. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone that goes off in the brain, especially early in a relationship. That's what allows you to bond to the other person. Oxytocin also goes off in the brain with a newborn child, for example. It's how you bond. It is crucial. But due to that lack of love and nurturing, the avoidant was never really exposed to much oxytocin as a child. They don't really know how to deal with it. And that oxytocin is deficient in adult relationships. They're not able to really oxytocin bond in any serious way, which means due to their insecurities, their brain is not allowing them to truly bond and connect with the partner the same way that you are with them. What's happening is that they are riding the dopamine rush. Dopamine is the reward hormone. It is the feel-good chemical that goes off in the brain, especially early in a relationship, but with other exciting activities as well. And it makes them feel good. It makes them feel happy. And they are infatuated and they think that they are in love. But the thing is, the brain simply cannot maintain that level of dopamine forever. It weans off. When a relationship goes from the honeymoon phase to the commitment phase, the oxytocin is what keeps that romance alive, those romantic feelings, obviously including effort in the relationship. That is a crucial part too. But as the dopamine wanes, there's no oxytocin to take over for the avoidant. The rush is over. It feels like the feelings are lost, and the remaining feelings they have, they've suppressed them. So they've fallen out of love, meaning they've fallen out of infatuation, and they don't really have the ability to form that deep, committed kind of love, and the remaining feelings they've completely suppressed. And when they say they don't know why, it's because they truly don't know why. It's due to a lack of self-reflection. Avoidance, avoid. Going back to childhood, they had to figure out emotions on their own, so what they learned to do is stuff it, bury it, and put on a happy face. So, processing emotions? No, they suppress them. That means they don't look within. And they also don't look within to avoid poking at that core wound of shame, that feeling of being defective. If they were to look within and acknowledge shortcomings or wrongdoing, in their own mind, it would confirm their own inner defectiveness. It's too painful. So they look to project their feelings and fears and behaviors onto external things so they can avoid accountability, because accountability pokes at that core wound of shame. So it becomes an incompatibility that they find, a fault that they find in their partner. Oh, we're incompatible because we like different types of food, or this person likes horror movies and I like drama. Very petty things, but when they find those external things, it helps them justify their sudden urge to exit without having to look within. And when you have these strong feelings and fears, but you refuse to think about them, you refuse to analyze them, how can you possibly know why you have those fears, and how can you possibly articulate them to the other person? You can't. And it can be devastating to be on the receiving end of. And it can feel personal, like you weren't good enough. But it wasn't because you weren't good enough. As long as you showed up as a healthy, loving person, you didn't have to be perfect, but as long as you gave your best and you treated this person with love, compassion, kindness, consideration, this isn't because you weren't good enough. It's not because of anything you did wrong. It's because of this person's insecurities, their unhealed attachment wounds, and their inability to form a healthy bond. Now, can they learn to? Absolutely. The human brain is amazing. They absolutely can rewire their brain and learn to grow the capacity to bond, become emotionally available, and consider the needs of another person. But they have to want it. If they don't want to do the work, if they want to keep on avoiding, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing that you can say to make this person change. They have to want it. But don't beat yourself up. It's not a reflection of you, your self-worth, or the quality of a partner that you are. It's a reflection of this person, their insecurities, and yes, their character too. Because when they're abruptly ending the relationship and telling you they lost feelings, it still is a choice, because they're not considering your feelings, the devastating impact it'll have on you, and how it'll affect your self-esteem. They're not thinking of that. They're only thinking of themselves, and whatever they perceive will soothe their anxiety in that moment. So don't beat yourself up, be kind to yourself, and understand it's not you, it actually is them.